We move on to our next panel. Will you welcome, please, All-Star footballer from 1997 from Cavan, Dermot McCabe. Come on, Dermot. Well done, Dermot. Welcome. A member of the present under-21 management team, I believe. He was a wonderful footballer. Will you welcome, please, Anthony Forde. Well done, Anthony. Good to see you again. All-Ireland medalist from 1999 from the county of Meath with strong Cavan connections, I believe, Mr. Hank Traynor. Well done. Boo, boo. You're getting a couple of boos. And last but not least, the dashing wing forward himself, free taker supreme, Mr. Ronan Carolan. Ronan is being mobbed by his fans. Oh, yeah. Now, Ronan, we'll start with you since you're the last one up. Talk to me about football, Cavan. What it's meant to you to be a Cavan footballer, to play in Croke Park, to wear the blue and white jersey.
Well, to play in Croke Park, Marty, we wouldn't have a huge amount of experience of it. But no, it's a passion. It's a passion like all the men here. I'm sure Hank, being from over the border beside us here, would have a different, more familiar feel about Croke Park. But no, we'd be absolutely passionate about it. I suppose it's been our life as such, and I'd be speaking about the two men here to my right. Been fortunate enough, all three of us, to be involved with successful underage teams over the last few years. So I think it's more about the future. And I would be quite positive about what's happening at the moment, and a lot of good things happening over the last few years. So we'd be hopeful to see the blue jersey successful in Croke Park. I suppose not as we were.
No, but I think we'd all welcome that, to be honest with you, because it's a great county. But we'll talk about that in a moment. Hank, have you got a close affinity with Cavan?
That's right, Marty. Yeah, my dad would have been a Cavan man. He's from a place, Killing, Don't Care, I think is what they used to call the football team up there. And with that, obviously, I grew up now coming down to Breffni, and also went to Clonus on many occasions with Dad now to shout for Cavan as a young fella. And I was there in '97 in Croke Park, actually, wearing a green and gold jersey. No, blue and white jersey.
Yeah, good man.
You know, it was magical because I can remember the excitement with Dad at home. He really, you know, him and all the uncles, they really got behind this Cavan team, as did the whole county, I think, like, you know. And it was the noise. I can remember the noise was thunderous. It was just magical, and it was nice to be part of it, because actually in 1996. Cavan beat Meath in All-Ireland under-21 semi-final in Hyde Park, and Anthony and Dermot, Larry, Riley, Jason, Mickey Graham, all them guys I would have played against. So I was sort of looking out for these guys. These guys were playing in All-Ireland semi-final. I suppose I was looking up to them and hoping that maybe one day I could be there as well. So yeah, Cavan means a lot, and you know, I've as you said, I've great affinity with Cavan and with the Cavan people.
Anthony, I know you're involved with the under-21 team. You're a selector, are you? Let's talk about the future for Cavan. I mean, where is it at? Ronan seems to be optimistic. I know you had an Ulster under-21 championship victory there a couple of years ago, but talk to us. Tell us what's happening.
Yeah, I suppose, look, we've certainly had success at minor and under-21 level, and you know, we have to start with that. I suppose if you look at the comparisons, I suppose you can take, you know, you get great confidence from the fact of where Donegal football was probably 3 years ago when Jimmy McGuinness came in, and they were bet by Armagh. You know, things were doom and gloom, and I suppose we came in under 21 management 3 years ago in Cavan, and like that, things weren't fantastic. We managed to get to an Ulster final in our first year, win it in the second year, and the boys done it again last year as well in retaining, and that's it's a great honour. Obviously, we have to take that to the next level now, and that's the big job of work we have as part of the senior management team now. And you know, that's I suppose we have a good group of players to work from. They're dedicated lads. We haven't had the success at senior level over the last number of years. We've all spoke about the passion that's there for Cavan football among the people and all like that there, and we have to try to energise the players and get the absolute utmost out of them. And I think we have a good group of players coming through, you know, you see Groden McKiernan here tonight who epitomises that, and you know, we have to look to those guys as being the next Dermot McCabe's and been their own sort of way to establish Cavan football back to where it should be.
Okay, before we move on, I know that the night is moving on and we're going as fast as we can, but if we could have just a small bit of cuteness to give the lads a chance, would you mind? Please, just a small bit of quiet. We'll move it as fast as we can because we've won. I know Owen has another group and I've one more group, and that'll be the end of it, so we're just going as fast as we can. Thank you. Dermot, in terms of part of what's happening, are you optimistic that Cavan, I mean, the influence of Donegal, what we've seen, that what they can do, which isn't very far away when they won the under-21 or got to the under-21 final, are you optimistic what's happening here at ground level?
It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be difficult there.
I might give you this just to back it up, talking to that as well. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can.
It's going to be very difficult, you know, to turn 18, 19 and 20-year-olds into All-Ireland contenders doesn't happen overnight. What's very critical is that the public, you know, realise that, and you know, sometimes, you know, being passionate is being passionate, but sometimes it can be critical. You've got to learn, you know, to allow players to be to develop, you know, and to progress as players and learn from their experiences rather than them trying to jump in and win straight away. So, you know, it's a difficult time in Cavan, and it's going to take a few years in order for them to progress. If they're willing to do the work, as we see by Donegal, it's definitely an opportunity there. But as a few of the previous mentioned, you know, it's a phenomenal amount of work that's sort of required, you know. And I have to say, I'm a little bit shocked that I thought Hank's link was that he used to live in Meadow Park and he was in here drinking every night, rather than he was a cousin of related to the Cavan.
So there was a legitimate connection, Hank, going back in time. Talk to me, you can hand that back to Ronan, Dermot, if you don't mind. Ronan, in terms of, I know, let's talk about what's happening as well, because the future is important. And I mean, Meath are going through a tough enough time. Their minors have finally qualified for an All-Ireland. Cavan knocking on the door, two great counties as such. But can Cavan make an Ulster breakthrough in the next 3 to 5 years?
I certainly hope so. The signs are there, like from, you know, Dermot and Anthony and myself, our experience over the last few years with the minors and under-21s. You know, the work ethic is good, the attitude is good. There's certainly an abundance of players that want to achieve, and it's a good basis. You know, whether we're good enough or not, we would basically have to work extremely hard to, you know, to get to a level where we have a chance. I certainly would be hopeful with what I have seen with regards to the, you know, fundamental work ethic that's there. So we've had 2 under-21 titles over the last 2 years, and Dermot was heavily involved with the Cabe minors 2 years ago, and you know, there was a good team there this year, and unfortunately the system didn't give them a back door or give them a second chance. But certainly there's a lot of hope there, but it's just a fundamental basis that will have to be worked on. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but I do think that the attitude is positive, is good, and I would be more hopeful.
And can I ask the four of you, in terms of football 2012, is there anything in particular you'd like to see changed? Because I know Eugene is chairman of the Football Review Committee, and there are ideas, but is there anything in particular that you guys would like to see changed?
There you go, Forde.
As regards change, Marty, I think there's possibly been maybe too many changes in football over the last number of years, and it's become it's nearly gone, I don't know whether it's soccer or rugby, like, you know what I mean, the traditional GAA sort of kick and catch, and keeping it simple as possible. It's sort of been eroded a wee bit, like, you know, and I think people a lot of genuine, I think, GAA people have become a little bit disgruntled with the way and the refereeing and everything else. It's become very pernickety, like, you know, and it's stop, start. And that's, I think, has annoyed and pissed people off in a sense, like, you know. And you go to National Football League games and you can see that because the crowds aren't turning out anymore. Now, whether that's a recession thing and the price and everything else, maybe that's a part to do it. But I think people, you know, they're fed up with the way it's sort of evolved maybe too quickly. And I think if they went back to sort of old-fashioned ways, it might draw the crowds back again.
Do you think Donegal's victory and the performance, I know there's only one performance, Anthony, but do you think it'll change football?
I think probably, you know, the levels of professionalism and all like that there, it certainly brings it to a new level. But like that, it's not the first time Armagh, Tyrone's, the other Ulster teams have done that in the past. I suppose what it does do is those teams that see themselves in a, say, perhaps middle tier, they can see what hard work does, what commitment to the cause, where a very unified group can achieve, and everybody going the one way, including county board, including supporters, all that. So I think people can see that that's an achievable goal now with a new team perhaps on the block that I wouldn't necessarily say have come out of nowhere, but certainly coming from where they were 3 years ago, have certainly given a lot of hope to places like Cavan and other counties, and I think that's absolutely great for football.
Is there anything you'd like to change, Dermot?
I'd probably disagree a little bit in that the reason these systems have to be developed is that the natural skill is not in the player. I do think the last 2 minutes or the last 5 minutes against Cork proved that a long high ball in when it was one-on-one, that the full-back from Donegal wasn't able to catch the ball. I do think that they're dependent on this system in order to make them feel safe. I don't think that our players that are coming through have the basic skills. And I think the reasons is that there's alternatives out there, and there's other sports, there's other games, other thing, and the GAA has to realise that they're competing with a lot of sports now. And the young lad that's able to catch a ball over his head at full height, the fella that's able to do a proper tackle, the fella that's able to kick it straight, is not readily available now. And I do believe that the next time it turns off, and the next skill change will be the team that has the proper skills.
Yeah.
I don't mean to insult. It's phenomenal what Donegal are doing, what their skills are, or what their work rate is. Unbelievable what they're doing for the jersey. But the team that will beat them will be an intelligent team that have a very strong ability on the basic skills.
Well, we look forward. I agree with you. Ladies and gentlemen, you can give a big round of applause. Dermot McCabe, Anthony Forde, Hank Traynor, and Ronan Carolan. Thanks very much, lads.